So making fresh pasta is one of my favorite things to do, but I don't get to do it very much in my current job. But today I got to make some gnocchi. Although I'm not really sure whether or not gnocchi is really considered a pasta. I started my day by washing a bunch of russet and Yukon Gold potatoes, poking them with holes so they don't explode, and then getting them roasted into a hot oven. While those are cooking, I made a Parmesan cream that I'll be using to serve with my gnocchi. This recipe is very simple, and it's a variation of one I used to use in a restaurant that I cooked at. I have a pot with some heavy cream, a few cloves of garlic, salt, pepper, and some lemon zest. Gonna bring that up to a simmer while I cut up some nice Parmesan into chunks and transfer that into a blender. Once my cream is hot, I'll pour that over my cheese and start blending it on low speed. This will be thickened up with xanthan gum, which acts as both a stabilizer and a thickener, as well as some egg yolks that you add while blending to add some richness. In the restaurant I used to serve this in, we would thicken this much more, put it into a squeeze bottle, and it was used for a Wagyu tartlet. We just called it Parmesan Cheese Whiz. This stuff is super tasty though. Now that my potatoes are done cooking, I use a 50% ratio of Yukons and russet potatoes. I like the mix because both potatoes have different starch contents and flavors. I've made gnocchi using both individually, but I found this to be my favorite. Pass those through a strainer so the potatoes are very fine. Add in a couple egg yolks, and the key to gnocchi for me is adding just enough flour that you can work with the dough. Too much and it can become tough, and nobody wants that. I put some flour down on the work surface and roll them out. Cut them into little bite-sized pieces and you're in business. I think making gnocchi is a great place to start if you've never made any type of pasta before. Then I fried off some basil in some really hot oil for just a few seconds. They become crispy and almost translucent, and I'm going to use these as my garnish. I boil my gnocchi for just a few seconds until they begin to float. Transfer them to a hot pan with some neutral oil to get nice and crispy, with some little cherry tomatoes, seasoned with salt and pepper, a little knob of butter, and some lemon juice to finish. For dinner, I also served up some sunchoke and lemon soup with garlic bread. The gnocchi gets plated with the Parmesan cream on the bottom, gnocchi on top with some chives and parm, a drizzle of balsamic glaze, and finished with crispy basil on top. Also served up an apple crumble for dessert. And that is a pretty standard day for me as a private chef.